Hi, this is Ian from SixStringGym. Today I wanted to talk to you about getting to know your fretboard and solving that problem of looking down at the fretboard and just seeing a blank load of frets and not knowing where the notes are. And we can do this in some very basic stages, and it's actually quite easy, and I've broken it down for you today with a bunch of charts that will just cut the job down to size for you. This is obviously very important because musicians communicate through the names of notes rather than, if you're talking to a keyboard player, he's not going to tell you which fret to play. He's going to say play an A or play an E. So that'll become more and more important as your playing goes on, particularly if you want to play in a band or something like that. So the first thing I want to do is run through the layout of the fretboard itself so that you know what to look for, and we can start with the dots on the frets. And so obviously you'll have noticed you've got a bunch of dots along the fretboard, and they start here at the 3rd fret, and it goes 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, and then the 12th fret, which you can see has 2 dots on, and then we go up to the 15th fret, the 17th, 19th, 21st, and then if you have it 24 frets on here, and again we have 2 dots, which is signifying an octave above the 12th fret. If you look at the chart there across the left hand side, you can see the names of the strings, and we have E, A, D, G, B, E. That's the standard tuning for a 6-string guitar. One thing to notice straight away from these dots is that the pattern of dots repeats after the 12th fret, and that's because everything from the 12th fret is an octave higher than everything below it. So if we play what's on the 12th fret here, where the 2 dots are, and then go to the 2 dots another 12 frets up, and then I don't know if you can hear that or not, but that's an octave higher. I'll try this one at 3rd fret and then the 15th fret. So right, moving on to onto the next chart. What I've done is chopped it down to just 12 frets, because now we know that the top half of the fretboard is just a repeat of the bottom half of the fretboard. Everything that you learn on the bottom half repeats on the top half, and because it's visually laid out the same, you'll be able to remember it very easily. So again, we have the 6 strings marked on the left hand side, and oh yeah, I should have noted before that these charts are marked out as if the guitar was laid out flat like that on your lap, and so the E string at the bottom of the diagram is this one here, and it goes A, D, G, B, up to the high E here. Moving on to the next chart, I've actually drawn the notes onto the chart for you so that you can see where they're positioned. And across the bottom of the chart, you will see what I've drawn out is what's called the chromatic scale, and those are all the 12 notes that are available to us in Western music. And if you look there, you'll see that there are some letters that go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and back to A again, and then in between them we have A sharp / B flat, C sharp / D flat, D sharp / E flat, F sharp / G flat, and G sharp / A flat. They're all notes. They only differ from each other by pitch. It's just a freak of history, or a quirk of history, that they've ended up being named the way they are. It's to do with the historical construction of scales. Now what I've done on the chart is to leave out the sharps and flats, otherwise it would have made the fretboard very cluttered. And what we can immediately see there is a pattern, a unique pattern that we can start to get to grips with. So if we move on to the next chart, let's start spotting some of the patterns which will cut down the effort in learning the names of the notes on the strings. The first thing to note is that the E, A, D, G, B, E open strings are repeated at the 12th fret, an octave higher. So straight away you've learned something there. The open strings, they repeat themselves at the 12th fret, just as the notes on the 1st fret repeat at 13th, at the 2nd fret repeat on the 14th, and so on. The second thing to note on this chart is in the middle of the chart there, as I said, I've ringed the tuning notes, if you like. So if you look on the low E string, this one, and go to the 5th fret, we find an A. So E, F, G, A, and that's the same A as the open string A next to it. If we follow that right across the guitar, we find that the 5th fret on the A string is a D, and it's the same as the open D on the next string. And then again we have a G, which corresponds to the G string. Then we have a B on the G string, which corresponds to the B string, which you'll notice is tuned slightly differently to the others. This is tuned a third. The B string is tuned a third higher than the G string, whereas the others are a fourth apart. We can get to what thirds and fourths and intervals mean later, but it's just something to keep in mind. And then on the B string we have an E, and that corresponds to the open E string itself. The next pattern we can spot, which will help cut down the amount of work that you have to learn, is on this next chart. If we look at the notes on the E string, on this low E string, they go E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E again. And you'll see that they repeat on the high E string. It's exactly the same pattern. F, G, A, B, C, D, E. So that note is the same as that, that's 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 the same as that, and E is the same as E. So that cuts down the amount of memorization. Just moving to the next chart, another little trick we can learn for memorizing the fretboard is actually spotting the octaves. So I've marked out on this chart the octaves of A, which if we start with the A on the low E string, then if we go 2 frets up and 2 strings across, we'll find another A, an octave higher. If we go 3 frets up this time and then 2 frets across, 3 frets up and 2 strings across, then we come to an A again, yet again an octave higher, and it's 3 frets up this time because of that strange tuning of the B string. But we'll find this across the guitar. So if you go down to the F, you'll see that 2 frets up and 2 frets across, there's an F, and then 3 frets up and 2 frets across, you'll see another F. If you go to the G, we'll find the same pattern repeating: G, 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 A, B, and so on. And then moving on to the A string, we see the same pattern again. So we have A, or B, 2 frets across, 2 frets up, and then 3 frets up and 2 strings across. We have a B, and that repeats again. We go B, C, D, E. So very easy stuff to remember. It's just about recognizing these patterns. If we move on to the next chart, this is where we really start to attack the fretboard. And okay, that shape might look a little bit complicated now, but actually all you have to learn is 6 notes. If we start on the low F at the bottom right hand of the left hand of the screen there, here we go F, A, G, A, B, C, D. So that's on the low E string, it's the 1st fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. On the A string, it's the 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. Very simple pattern. F, G, A, B, C, D. And then all for the rest of that pattern there, it's just a repeat of those first 6 notes. But again, it's 2 frets up and 2 strings across. So F, G, A, B, C, D, 2 frets up, 2 strings across, F, G, A, B, C, D, and then because of that strange B string tuning, it's 3 frets up and 2 frets across, we go F, G, A, B, C, D. And just by learning those 6 notes and knowing that the octave pattern of 2 frets up, 2 strings across, 3 frets up, 2 strings across, you know how to apply that pattern across the guitar. And you've literally just learned half of the guitar just by learning those 6 notes. And that pattern just follows the octave pattern, very simple pattern, which you should be able to memorize in no time at all. So we've just got the other half of the fretboard now to lock down and get those last few notes in. Well, if we move up to the 7th fret and start on the low E string, we have a B, and we're going to go B on the 7th, C on the 8th fret, D on the 10th fret, E on the 8th fret, sorry, on the 7th fret of the A string, F on the 8th fret, G on the 10th fret. So we have another 6 notes there, which again repeats 2 frets up and 2 strings across. Very easy pattern to remember. And then if we want to go up higher, we can go up 3 frets up and 2 strings across up and go past the 12th fret. It's following that exact same pattern. And you'll see on the chart that I've also marked C, D and E on the left hand side of the chart. Ring those with a blue line. And those are literally the last few notes that you have to learn. And you've got the whole fretboard down. C, D, E. And you've got the whole fretboard because we already know the top E string, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, because we learned the low E string. Okay. And that really is it in terms of just getting to know the notes on the fretboard. The 2 middle strings are a little tougher to memorize than the other strings, which you might come to find. There's a chap called Daryl Gable, who's a phenomenal guitarist. He's got a cracking little video on how to tackle these 2 middle strings. And if you're struggling with those, then I suggest you watch this video, which hopefully there'll be a link to somewhere here. Okay, me just talking to you, you're probably not going to have grasped all the notes in the course of just listening to this video. You actually have to apply it and sit down there and learn to actually say the notes as you're playing them. So if you go back to the previous slide, then or previous chart, then you can go F, G, A, B, C, D, and then we can do this B, C, D, E, F, G pattern. So yeah, get used to saying the notes, and you'll start to memorising. And another way of really getting these notes down is to actually draw your charts out, just like I've done, and then start identifying the patterns, which you'll do naturally. If you draw the charts out and then write in the notes, you will actually, as you're writing the notes out, you'll start to see the patterns yourself, and in a short time you'll literally start looking down at the fretboard and seeing these patterns appearing on the fretboard and knowing the names of the notes, which is what you're aiming for. Okay, well I hope that's been helpful, and we'll see you on the next video. Okay. Cheers.